Hello, everyone. So, hope everyone's December's going well. Next week is Christmas. I'm actually gonna release my video early, and since it is gonna be the last video for Christmas, I decided to go all out. My shirt says my favorite color is Christmas lights, and it has a little wreath of Christmas lights. I got the Christmas lights on. I got these from work. I got my little reindeer hat. So you can't really see. Let me see. Messing up my hair. They have little lights on them. And yeah, I'm gonna go all out. For our for our last video of the season, got my jewelry, as always. And as always, self promotion. What if I ruled the world? Poems inspired by music written by me, your boy. Great Christmas gift, I think, in my humble opinion. It's a great gift. Holly, she don't got nothing, but she has what I wish it was, spring flowers on. The other day it was raining, but it was like in the 50s. But it did stop raining for a little bit, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want this to stay. I also want it to be, not dark at 5:30 at night. That would also be nice. But anyway, we're here to talk about Written in the Stars, a book by Alexandria Bellflew. I hope I said her name right. Usually I would mention what I said in my short videos, but I haven't made them yet. I'm making my video first, so we're just gonna go with whatever I'm talking about now. Um, so it does take place around Christmas. It is a LGBTQIA plus story. It's romance. That's the genre as well. I'm gonna give you Alexandria. I'm gonna call her Alexandria B. Her background. She's award-winning USA Today best-selling author of swoony contemporary romance, often featuring lovable grumps and the sunshine characters who bring them to their knees. A Pacific Northwestern Westerner at heart, Alexandria now lives in New York City with her cats Mills and Boone. That's cute. Her special skills include finding the best pad thai in every city she visits, remembering faces but not names. I do that as well. Falling asleep in movie theaters. I don't do that part. And keeping cool while reading smutty books in public. Her debut novel, Written in the Stars, which we're talking about now, was a 2021 um, Lambda Literary Award winner and a 2020 winner of the Ripped Bodice Awards for excellence in romance fiction. That's a little bit about her. That's actually from her site. She had two biographies. One was short and one was long. So this is the long one. It just has like more kind of like personal details about her in this one than the other one, but it pretty much says the same thing, just without the cat's part and maybe her special skills part. But I was like, this is funner. So the book was released November 10th, 2020. Uh, Great for something to read during the pandemic. That would have been nice. So the synopsis is: after a disastrous blind date, Darcy Lowell is desperate to stop her well-meaning brother from playing matchmaker ever again. Love and the inevitable heartbreak is the last thing she wants. So she fibs and says her latest setup was a success. Darcy doesn't expect her lie to bite her in the ass. L. Jones, one of the astrologers behind the popular Twitter account Oh My Stars, dreams of finding her soulmate, but she knows it most absurdly. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. Absurdly is most absurdly not Darcy. There we go. A no nonsense stick in the mud, who is way too analytical, punctual, and skeptical for someone as free spirited as Elle. When Darcy's brother and Elle's new business partner expresses how happy he is they hit it off, Elle is baffled. Was Darcy on the same date? Because awkward. Darcy begs Elle to play along, and she agrees to pretend they're dating, but with a few conditions. Darcy must help Elle navigate her own overbearing family during the holidays, and her arrangement expires and their arrangement expires on New Year's Eve. The last thing they expect is to develop real feelings during a faux relationship, but maybe the opposites can attract when true love is written in the stars. So that's the synopsis. The main characters are Darcy Lowell and Elle Jones, like I said. So I'm gonna go over my pros and my cons and my overall opinion. So my first pro is the characters. I love how Elle and Darcy not only progress in their relationship, but as also as individuals and their temporary fallout, which I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. I feel like every rom com has a fallout, like either a misunderstanding or miscommunication or something like that, like once or twice at least, uh, in rom com movies or books. So I don't know if that's a super big spoiler, but I do love that they both like learn things about themselves through the heartbreak. Um, and so, oh, Elle realizes that she deserves the best, no matter what people think of her, because she's very critical of herself, because of her family, which I can relate. I know families can be it can be rough. I'm actually listening to another Christmas. It's gonna be my last Christmas book, I think. It's called Bounce by Megan Shull, and the little girl, the main character, her name's Franny. Ah, we're gonna talk about families later on, um, in my cons, but her family also, they're not good at all. I really want to go through my Libby app, through the audiobook, and fight all of them, which I have a feeling in this book as well. But yeah, that's why she kind of feels like inadequate because of her family. Uh, and Darcy learns to express her true feelings, even if she could get hurt. So this is going to be a bit of a spoiler. So Darcy was in a long term relationship. I'm not going to give too many specifics, but it didn't work out, and it was like a betrayal. So I'm sure you can imagine what probably happened. And yeah, so Darcy is very guarded about expressing her feelings now. Um, oh, and then so it is an LGBT qua story. So Darcy is a lesbian and Elle is bisexual. And they do talk about this like with each other in the story as well. Speaking of story, that's my next pro. I felt like the story is so cute. It is very predictable, but you know what? I just wanted a feel good Christmas love story. So that was fine for me. But if you want something more unique, I mean, it's like a rom com book basically. All the beats, all the mishaps, all the everything is gonna happen. So if that's not your thing, you want something more unique. I think it's like a good fun book. But if that's not what you're looking for, I would probably skip this one. The setting was my next pro. I forgot it was not in New York City at first. Because I feel like every like story, like rom com, is set in New York City. So when they were talking about Seattle, I was like, oh, so it was nice to learn more about Seattle. So that was cool. I wonder if that's where Alexandria is from. She might be, because it did say she was a Northwesterner in her biography. So I'm assuming that's where she's from. But it was a nice change of setting for a rom com. No New York, no LA. Where else would they be? Paris. Trying to think where else is romantic. Paris, New York, LA, um, Greece. I think wasn't there something like Eat, Pray, Love was in Greece, or she was traveling a bunch of places. Yeah, stuff like places like that. So it was nice to have a different setting. My last pro is the smut. It was very detailed and satisfying for me. It gave great picture of what was happening. So I like vivid smut. That's just my thing. I do know that when I was on TikTok one day, I don't know if it was the specific author or if it's like becoming a thing now where they have like PG books and then they have the books with the smut, but give me the smut. So I enjoyed that part. I do have only one con. Uh, like I said about families, their families were meddling and annoying. So Brandon, like he meant well trying to hook up his sister, but he was so meddling and annoying. Oh, and another thing is he owns a dating app, but he don't got no boo. So why are you all up in somebody else's business and you got a dating app, but you ain't even got a boo? Make that make sense. You know what I mean? So that was annoying. Just him being insistent on it, and then he's kind of a hypocrite. You know what I mean? Like he means well, but it's like he was like that's the reason why she faked the relationship in the beginning, is because he was so overbearing about her going to speed dating, going to this. It's like if people want to be miserable and single, I know you don't have to be miserable and single, but but in rom com books and movies, they act like that's the only thing that makes you happy is a relationship. But if they don't want to be in a relationship, they don't want to be in a relationship. But of course, they're in a rom com, so they have to be in a relationship. Well, you know what I mean. So that was annoying. What else? Oh, all of the family members besides Brandon, like the moms, the dads were kind of like passive. You know how dads are; they don't really stand up to like the mom. So that was also annoying. But yeah, all the family members were very annoying and unbearing. Like I understand why they were included, but yeah, like I said, for the other story I'm reading, I also wanted to jump into the story and square up with every single one of them. I will say some of them did make up. I would still. I'm like, it's like when your friend tells you like somebody done them wrong and they forgive them, but you're still weary of them. That's how I feel. Like, yeah, I know y'all making up, but I'm still gonna at least ball up my fist to my side when I see them, at least, just in case to be ready. So yeah, that was the only con I had. And my overall opinion, I love how cute and sweet this book was. It was very predictable, but still enjoyable. I love that Elle, towards the end of the book, started seeing the value in herself and not relying on other people's opinions. Because, one of the things is, like, she's an astrologer. She has this social media thing. And I'm trying not to spoil too much, but she's working with the dating app that Brendan owns, having some astrology aspects as well. And it's not a traditional job, so her family's kind of like, you could have did this, you could have did that. You know how families are. But you know what? She decides this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm doing. And you know what? I accept it, and I deserve, to think highly of myself. I love that. And I also love that Darcy finally opened up and expressed herself fully after having her heart broken years before the story started, which I talked about. Um, I really love the steamy scenes in the book as well. And yeah, I will continue reading the stories. Continue reading the series. So there's 3 books in the series. I think they're semi-related, kind of. So Brendan, I know from who is Darcy's brother. Had the next book is his like love story, but I'm not sure if somebody from that book is also going to be in the next book. Um, but yeah, I would definitely keep reading the series. My library only has the first and the third book, so I'm like, I have to look up if I'm gonna. I won't want to look up too much, but I'm gonna see if I will miss something. Like if I will, I get spoiled. I guess if I read the third and skip over the second until I can get the second book. So I have to see. But anyway, I would give this book an 8 out of 10. I think it was a fun time. You want a little fun Christmas rom com. Um, you don't want to have to think too deep. I, you know, this is fun for me. I listened to it on audiobook. That was cool. So I have a little rant. It's not Christmas related, even though this is going to be the last Christmas video. It's like how I feel about horoscopes. Because Elle is a astrologer. Um, okay, and I talked about her running the account themed after it. I thought it was really cute. So they had like different themes of like posts, like what movie are you based on your zodiac? What food are you based on your zodiac? I think those are fun. I really do. Um I don't mind horoscopes, and I think they could be fun, to get to know yourself. However, I think it's too much to judge people's. Oh, I meant to put solely. Every video has to have a typo. Solely on their horoscope, and not want to be friends or in a relationship because of it. I've had people be like, "Oh, what sign are you?" And you tell them, and they're like, "Oh, I just don't get along with people who are such and such sign, and it's like, okay, why don't you get to know me first? How about that? Like I feel like that at that point it's too much. You know what I mean? It's too like I don't think it's bad for yourself to like rely on it and like, oh, let me see what my sun and my star and my moon and what my retrograde is going on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that on a personal level and like sharing your knowledge like Elle does. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But once you start judging people personally that you meet for the first time or something solely on their horoscope and like nothing else, I feel like that's crazy. That's too much. Like, get to know people. Like, just because Geminis are a certain way, or just because this other Capricorn or whatever is a certain way, doesn't mean every single person who is that sign is going to be like that. Um, so I think it can be fun to learn about your star placements, but I don't think it should be everything you use to judge people or avoid people because of it, basically. Um, so I don't really have any deep thoughts about horoscopes. I think it'd be fun. It's really cool. I don't know any of my star placements. I just know my horoscope. I mean, like, like my month sign. Uh, I'm a Libra, so I know you're gonna be in the comments judging or whatever. After I said you shouldn't do that, but it's your life. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the horoscopes and my thoughts on Written in the Stars. Have you read any of the books? Have you what Christmas books have you read? I read another Christmas book called I think it's called A Christmas Wedding by James Patterson and another author whose name I cannot think of right now. Let me see something. So I have been keeping a reading log this year, but next year I have the app Storygraph and it's just gonna go in Storygraph because making this little chart, having to fix the formatting for for this it's been too much. So I'm not even gonna worry about it tracking it myself. Oh, the guy's name is Richard DiLallo. Is the guy who also wrote the book The Christmas Wedding with um James Patterson, and I also read Daddy Christmas and Hanukkah Mama, and then I told you the last Christmas book I'm reading. So I read three Christmas books. The one Written in the Stars, Daddy Christmas, and Hanukkah Mama, which is like a kid's illustration book. I'm reading a middle grade YA book right now. So Written in the Stars, that one, Christmas Wedding. Oh, and the one I'm reading now, Bounce. So I've read four. Written in the Stars, The Christmas Wedding, Bounce. So yeah, so I've been in the spirit. I've also started reading one of my own Christmas books, like that I had, like I bought like in November or October, but I haven't finished it yet. So I don't know. I might delete it from my history and then read it next year instead of like having it sit in my history for a year. But we'll see, because I don't know if I'm gonna be in the spirit to read it after Christmas, because I'm like Christmas is over. But anyway, let me know what you want for Christmas. Have you read any Christmas books? And my next video will most likely be me talking about my accomplishments and goals for next year. So I'll see you all next week. And Merry Christmas early. And I hope you all have a great holiday.